everybody, MBNs and gurus alike, all the other people that's watching this video. We want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll let you know this is our very first official Garden Gurus video of 2022. Now, speaking of Garden Gurus, if you go over to our website, yougrowfood.com, you'll see that in 2022 we are celebrating 20,000 registered forum members, and we're also getting ready to celebrate 90,000 website hits. Thank you guys so much for all the support. So anyway, thank you for watching our first official video for 2022, and as soon as this snow melts, we'll bring a whole lot more to you, because you guys know I'm addicted to growing food. I love it. So anyway, stay tuned. We're going to bring you this video, and thank you guys for watching. Hello everybody, welcome back to another MB Heritage Farm video. Today we're going to be talking about sweet potatoes. So today is January the 10th. We harvested our sweet potatoes. October the 10th we posted a video on how to store them. October the 12th. So it's exactly 3 months in. I want to explain a little bit about what we've done with our sweet potatoes since then. The step that we did that we didn't record or put on video or anything like that was, we'll go down under the house where we have our sweet potatoes stored, and we'll pull them out. We'll bring them in the house and we'll put them up under a table that we have set up there in the art room. Just a regular old table that we use for art and things of that nature. We have it under there covered with cardboard for the remainder of the time until we get ready to plant them, and we'll show you why we do that in just a second. In other words, around Christmas Day we just go down and get our sweet potatoes and bring them up into a warmer environment. Now, we don't add any light or do anything like that. We just move them into a warmer room. It's still dark. I also have them covered a little bit with a piece of cardboard right in the middle. And we do that so they'll go ahead and start getting acclimated back to that warmer temperature, and they'll start putting out shoots for us even though they don't have no lights. So come on guys, we'll take you in the house. We'll show you what they look like now, how the sweet potatoes has developed over these past 3 months, and what our next step is in order to get us some slips to grow this spring. So now we're going to show you two methods that we do with our sweet potatoes. The ones that has developed, the whole potatoes, we're going to do one thing with, and some of the small ones we're going to do something else with. So you guys stay tuned, and we're going to show you everything we do to get sweet potatoes and slips two different ways. All right guys, here we are. This is the bin that we dumped our sweet potatoes in after we brought them back up here. So the table that it's sitting on is the table that it was under the rest of the time that we brought them in the house. I just took them out from under the table and put them up here. This is what we're looking at. Now, if you notice, the potatoes have already made us quite a few very nice slips. And you'll also notice that these slips don't have any roots on them yet. They've been growing really slow. I'll go ahead and just let you look at each one as I pull it out. So these sweet potatoes, since they've been in the house, has been sitting, like I said, under this table, and it's been around 71 or 72 degrees the entire time. We haven't blasted them with a lot of heat or any light. That's the reason why these slips has grown really slow over the past 3 months. We didn't want any like really fast growth during the winter months. Now, every potato grows different, especially sweet potatoes, and it's really hard to tell which end is which. Sometimes on some potatoes, not always. But by putting them, or by using this method anyway, nature will show you which end you need to plant down by just simply growing shoots out of that end. That's the end that you'll need to plant and expect to get most of your growth and roots from. Now, I also wanted to note, whether you may or may not see all of them, every single potato in this bin came out with some type of growth on it. We didn't have any failures whatsoever, and that's pretty awesome. And most of the time, that's how it's going to happen for you. So now, since this video is already pretty lengthy in the first place, I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward and show you me taking out each potato and showing you there is no roots on these slips. And these are the ones we're going to have to break off and stick inside of the water. Okay, so here's every potato that we got out of the storage tote. I figured I'd just go ahead and give you a flyby and let you see each one. And I also want you to see that we do have plenty of slips, but no roots. Now Now here's what we've done by letting nature take its course. The first thing it's done is it's cleared up which end of potato to use. A lot of times if you'll see videos on YouTube about replanting your sweet potatoes or getting slips from them, everybody's telling you to put the big blunt end down in water first, and that's how you'll get your sprouts or your slips. However, only a few will tell you that your pointy end, not the blunt end, but the pointy end is where all your slips come from. And believe it or not, that's the end that we put in water. So now what we're going to do next is we're going to take these slips that's already existing, and some of the ones that's longer we're going to go ahead and pop off, and we're going to put in our water and let it go ahead and get some roots going. Some of the ones that's shorter like this, we're not going to do anything to, but go ahead and submerge it in water, and we'll go ahead and show you that technique now. But you guys did see some that had like 8 to 12 inch shoots or slips coming off these things. We're going to go ahead and pop those off, put them in a glass of water and some rooting water, and put them up in a windowsill, or we're probably just going to use a grow light. I don't want you guys to think just because we pop those slips off and put them in the glass of water then the potatoes finished, because once you get them off, just put that sharp end or the pointy end back inside the water, and you'll get even more slips. We have got up to 50 slips off one sweet potato. You can do it, guys. Okay, so here we are on the next part, and all you're going to need for this part is some cups or some jars and some bottled water. We also use jars. I'll show you that here in a second. So all we're going to do is just fill these cups up somewhere around 1/4 of the way. But this cup I'm holding here is going to be for us taking our shoots or slips off the potatoes. I don't really call them slips until they have roots. So I'm going to take these shoots and I'm going to drop them down in this 4th cup of water, and I'm not going to add anything to it. No rooting hormone, no nutrients yet, anything like that, just this water. And I'm going to drop it down in there for at least a week or 2 before we do anything else. So now this can be a little bit tricky, but it's not rocket science. You definitely don't want to break these slips. You want to get as close to the potato as you can. All you need to do is get really close and just take your thumb and roll it over, and you're just going to pull that slip or the shoot right out of its socket, and that's the perfect way. No need to use knives or try to get a clean cut. You want that roughness coming out of that potato, because that's what's going to make your roots grow a lot better. Now, I also want to note that the next thing that you need to pay attention to is making sure you don't knock off those little white balls at the very end of it. Those are new shoots or slips starting to grow and come out of the potato, and they'll just turn into these other long ones growing about 8 or 10 inches off the potato. So now that you guys have seen us get our slips and our existing shoots and putting them in water, we're going to show you that all we do with a potato is just turn it over, take that end that has some of the smaller shoots going off of it and sticking it right in the water. Like I said earlier, we do not suspend them with toothpicks or anything like that. That's perfectly fine. You can do that, but we just wanted to show you the easier way. It's okay just to set the potato and rest the bottom of the potato on the bottom of the cup. It's not going to hurt a thing at all. Now I'm about to run out of cups, and I'm going to show you guys that we do use jars. The mouth of the jars are sometimes smaller than the cups, and they will suspend the potato. In that instance, I'll just take and pour more water until it comes up to the level on the potato that I want, but we don't do that on purpose. So now also I want to answer the question, because I know it may come up. People are going to wonder why I don't put them in the windowsill. There's nothing wrong with that. You absolutely can. However, I'm going to be using jars, and we do have some direct sun coming through the windows, and I just want to cut down on the algae growth. Now here's our potatoes in their current state after we finish the job. I'm going to take you guys outside and show you our second method using soil. But I also wanted to point out that you can tell we did not wash our potatoes any at all through this process, because they're dirtying up the water, which is perfectly fine. It's no big deal. We're going to be changing this out in 5 days anyway with even more clean water. Okay, so for the next part of this video, we out here on the garden deck, and we got just a regular old seed tray and some of my favorite products. Now, I'm not these guys don't sponsor me or anything like that, but this is some of my favorite stuff here. Daddy Pete's company is a North Carolina based company. I'll show you that stuff in a little bit. It's gorgeous. So we're going to use a couple of cups of each of these, along with about a shovel full of black soil from the garden, and we're going to show you guys what we do with these potatoes when we get done mixing all that together. So now we got this Daddy Pete's organic compost open. This is 25-pound bag. It's some pretty stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and show you a handful of it. Now this bag was only $5 for this 25-pound bag. And look at that pretty stuff. So now that we got our black compost in here, we also got some garden soil from the garden up there. All we're gonna do is mix it all up. Ain't nothing special. Alright, that's pretty much it. Now here's our potatoes that we took the shoots off of. And as you can see, they still have some going on. So all we're going to do is take that point in, we're going to turn it over, we're going to make sure it's covered in soil. And we may put a little bit more over top of it when we're done. But we're going to take the rest of our potatoes, even these crazy looking ones here, and we're going to make sure all that's tipped down in the soil. But we're not going to cover the whole potato. And then after that, we're just going to keep this soil warm and very wet. Not drowning wet, but we're just going to keep it from drying out. Okay everybody, here we are, we're back in the art room. This is where we have our sweet potatoes at. So it's been 2 days since we did the first part of the video, and I wanted to take a little time and just show you guys it really don't take no time at all for them to get started as far as taking root and showing you signs of progression. So I'm going to go ahead and turn you around and we're going to show you how far they've came in just 48 hours. Okay, so I'm going to move this. Okay, so here's our potatoes, our sweet potatoes. Like I said, it's been 2 days, so we're going to go ahead and show you guys the progression in just 2 days. You can just look at any of them and see. I'll go ahead and take one out of the water here and show you guys. Now, as you can tell, we did have shoots on these potatoes, but there was no roots. Now, these slips that are already on here will grow roots, and then when they get pretty full, all you're going to have to do is just pop those off, put them in the ground, and they're already established with the roots. Hopefully I'll get this thing to focus a little better. They're pretty much all, as you can see, roots are everywhere. Just after 2 days, every one of these guys, just after 48 hours, already has roots going everywhere off these slips. I'll even show you some of our slips that are already been taken off the potato in just 48 hours. And you can see in just 2 days, I mean, we have all kind of roots. Now they need to get a little bit more established. We want more roots than that. So they'll be in here a little while longer. But all this is just bottled water. We don't have any nutrients in here yet, anything like that. Just plain bottled water and these slips in glass jars. And of course, we've used plastic cups also. But pretty much anything will work. We like to use glass so we don't have to disturb the potatoes so much. We can just look right in there without taking them out because they're kind of easy to break. So now when it comes to the slips that you get off the potato that you already have in your jar, glass, cup of water, whatever it may be, you want to make sure that you keep in mind that once they get to this stage and they go in this cup of water, you only have somewhere around between 2 and 4 weeks before these things are going to be ready to go in the ground, which is why we want our potato to go as slow as it can. That's why we don't have our day lamps in here. We only have it on one low wattage. I think this thing's around 600 watts, 1200 lumens. It's really low. We like to break seed out with this. We like to germinate seed with this light. It does have full spectrum, but it's just low on wattage, and it makes sure that we're not putting too much power toward what we're trying to grow. We want to keep it nice and slow because you can see just after 2 days, there's all kind of little roots popping off in there. I apologize for the zoom and stuff on my phone for as far as focus goes, but even some of these smaller ones in here, like those things could probably be put now in the ground or into some type of planter, 5-gallon bucket, whatever it is you're going to put them in till they're ready to go outside, but we like to let them hang out and get a whole lot more than that. Kind of make it look like hair coming off of it, if you know what I mean. There are a few things that you need to keep in mind. You'll see a lot of people that shows you how to do sweet potato slips that'll just leave their water and potato there for weeks at a time. I will tell you that it's much better that if you go ahead and change your water, even if you're not using nutrient solution, which you don't have to at all through the entire process, you can just use water. However, it's my recommendation if you want to have good, healthy roots that aren't slimy or have any kind of gel coating on them from any kind of mold or bacteria, algae, and things like that that build up in old water, the best thing to do is change your water at least once every 5 days. But fresh water is at least 50% of the success in these potato slips. So you always want to make sure you have good, fresh, clean water. Bottled water from the store works fine. Tap water is good as long as you have your parts per million is kind of low on that side. And just make sure you keep your pH around 6 to 6.5 and you won't have any problem. So now what did we learn about sweet potato slips? A lot of people will tell you to bury the big, blunt, or fatter end of the potato goes down. However, if you could tell by looking at the sweet potatoes when we first took them out, nature tells you which end that you need to put down as far as getting shoots out. And every potato that we've grown is always the pointy or slimmer end of the potato. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to work if you put the blunt end down, but what you're going to get is more of just the slips that you see like we had at the first of the video without any roots, and you're going to have to break those off and put them over in a glass of water in order to get your roots established. If you plant the pointy end of the potato down in the water, you're going to get your slips that has roots on them. It'll start developing those, but it's also going to grow brand new slips and roots for those slips. Now, you're going to get an occasional few slips coming up through here, and as you can tell, this one's already starting to root, or this one's already starting to sprout at the end of it. So you'll take these slips, like we always do, and we're just going to pop them off the potato and put them in a cup of water. And these are ready to just pop right off the potato and put in the ground. That's why, regardless of what you see in a lot of other videos, you want to make sure that the pointy end of your potato goes down into the water. And you can tell by the water line, I'm not really submerging the whole half of the potato. Now, as I stated before, you can get up to 50 slips off one sweet potato. And it's going to take somewhere around 6 to 8 weeks to spend all of its energy doing so. So we're going to let these things sit in here in some really low light, probably keep it all full spectrum, lower the temperature. We're going to make sure it stays around 72, but it's going to take at least 6 or 8 weeks to get a whole lot more slips from its potato so we can pop them off and put them in the ground. So we're going to go ahead like we always do and start these things kind of early. We try to get them started somewhere around January between the 16th and the 26th. We're going to continue that tradition. We're also going to continue putting them under the house in a 55-degree environment with really low humidity to make sure that they stay kind of dormant till we're ready to get some of these slips off of them. After about 3 months of putting them under the house, we're going to bring them in, and we're going to take them out of the sawdust, and they should have some type of slip established. If you kept it at 55, it won't be much. And then after we take them out, we're going to go ahead and put them in water just like you've seen, 6 to 8 weeks. And as these potatoes fill up with these slips, we're going to take them off and we're going to put them in a starter planter, or you can just keep them in water for a little while longer. But before long, you'll have tons of sweet potato slips that you can put in the ground. You'll be able to tell when the energy from the potato has been spent. It will change a little bit of colors. It'll be much harder. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it'll be much harder to the touch. And you can tell it's not rotted, but it's definitely aged quite a bit. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing back in water. Hey, gurus and NBNs, we hope this helped. We hope you get a lot of sweet potato slips off your sweet potatoes using this method. Remember, one or two potatoes can give you all you need for your garden in the next coming year. All you need is just some clean water, a little bit of know-how, some patience, and make sure you keep that water clean. So until next time, we'll see you on the next one.